Welcome to your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski with the latest local news, including another Connecticut child dying of flu complications, a Trumbull youth arrested for a threatening post, and much more. Frank Granito has a look at your forecast and a Nutmeg sports update, and Donald Dang joins us later to take a look back on this day in history. But first, tragedy in Norwalk over the weekend. Hearst, Connecticut media reports that a Columbus Magnet School first grader died of flu complications Saturday night, likely making that child the second in the state to die of a flu-related illness this season. 6-year-old Emma Splon had joined Columbus last year as a kindergartner, that according to school principal Medard Thomas in a letter to parents on Sunday. Now, Thomas wrote in part, "We could always count on Emma constantly doing the right thing at school and thriving." He said, "Our hearts go out to her loving parents, Christy Pugh and David Splon." He said, "We are devastated by their loss, and this tragedy has brought us unimaginable sorrow and heartache, but as a community, we possess the spirit and fortitude to work through this unspeakably tragic time." Now, he wrote that counselors will be available at Columbus Magnet to help children, staff, and parents process through this tragedy. Now, Emma's death comes roughly a month after that of 10-year-old Nico Malazzi of New Canaan, who died January 14th of flu-related illness. And in other news, Trumbull police have arrested a 13-year-old boy for posting comments and a photo of himself on social media holding a handgun in a group text with other students on February 17th. Now, Trumbull police were notified after a parent of one of those other students in the group found that post on their child's cell phone. Now, the gun in the photo was found to be a replica BB gun. The youth purposely cropped out the gun's red tip, which identified it as a replica when he took that photo. It was later determined that this was an isolated incident and that there was no apparent threat to the general public. Well, that 13-year-old was charged with disorderly conduct and is scheduled to appear in court on March 3rd. And the heavy, wet snow which fell across the area Saturday night made for some treacherous driving conditions. Monroe's Stevenson Volunteer Fire Company reported that it was dispatched at about 7:30 Saturday for a motor vehicle accident rollover in the area of 310 Hammertown Road. Now, once units arrived along with the Monroe Police Department and Volunteer Emergency Medical Service, firefighters found both occupants of that vehicle had already removed themselves with no injuries. Now, units remained on scene until wreckers showed up to remove that vehicle. And the National School Walkout movement has roots in Ridgefield. Ridgefield High School sophomore Lane Murdoch is among the national student leaders protesting for stricter gun control laws after a school shooting in Florida last week that claimed the lives of 17 people. Now, Murdoch told Reuters on Sunday, "I felt like it was our time to take a stand because, you know, we're the ones in these schools, we're the ones who are having shooters come into our classrooms." Now, Murdoch's petition has gone on to accumulate more than 55,000 signatures. And that protest, officially branded the National School Walkout, has reached some 76,000 Twitter followers and counting as of early this morning. Now, Murdoch and other national student leaders are calling for their peers to exit school on Friday, April 20th. That's the 19th anniversary of the Columbine school massacre in Colorado. According to students, nothing has changed since Columbine. Let us start a movement that lets the government know the time for change is now. Murdoch encourages those participating to wear orange and protest in their local communities before the national school exodus on April 20th. Now, Ridgefield Board of Finance member Jessica Mancini praised the movement that's being run by students for students. Mancini wrote on Facebook, "I am proud of this young woman and our youth for taking action and being involved." Now, there's more on that story at theridgefieldpress.com. And in other news, last week on Coffee Break, we told you about an attempted kidnapping phone scam in Monroe. Well, Darien police are now warning residents not to fall for the same kidnapping phone scam that recently targeted a 61-year-old Darien resident on February 8th. Now, that victim received a call from an unknown number warning him that his daughter had been involved in a car accident and assaulted by the caller. Well, the caller said the victim would need to wire him $780 if he wanted to see his daughter again. Unable to verify his daughter's well-being, that victim followed the caller's directions and wired that money and then ended the call. The resident was eventually able to contact his daughter and learned she was never in any danger, and he then reported that incident to police, and an investigation is now ongoing. Well, after a recent similar attempt was thwarted after a resident alerted Darien police, the department issued a series of guidelines to avoid falling victim to that type of scam. You can find out more at DarienTimes.com. And the Connecticut Post reports that a Derby man was accused of fourth-degree sexual assault against 2 employees at an adult retail store in Orange earlier this month. According to the Orange Police Department, on February 9th at 10:45 in the morning, officers received a complaint of sexual assault from 2 employees at what the police blotter called a local adult-oriented retail establishment. Now, the store wasn't identified. Police reports that the officers learned that 27-year-old Ryan O'Leary of Derby entered that store and engaged 2 different employees at different times. Allegedly, he acted inappropriately with both of those workers. Police said O'Leary used his hand to touch one of the employees, and later he allegedly used a display item to touch the other employee. Both employees reported O'Leary to management, who then ordered him out of the store and contacted police. Officers located O'Leary a short time later at his home, where he was taken into custody and charged with 2 counts of fourth-degree sexual assault and 2 counts of breach of peace. All right, taking a turn now, let's get a look at your forecast with Frank Granito. Frank. All
right, thank you, Caitlin. Well, pleasant out right now. We've got mostly sunny skies and a little bit warmer as that snow's starting to melt. Temperatures sitting in the mid to high 40s for the rest of the afternoon. We'll start to see some increasing cloud cover later on in the day. Could see a passing shower or 2 heading through the county, and then cloudy overnight, maybe 1 or 2 more showers. And we'll start to see a dense fog moving in. That fog going to continue into tomorrow morning as it gets a little more mild out. Should break by the midday. Temperatures almost up into the 60s tomorrow with mostly sunny skies through the afternoon. Partly cloudy overnight, a low of 48. Heading into Wednesday morning. Partly sunny Wednesday. Temperatures will be in the mid-60s. So maybe time to break out a t-shirt or 2 during the day. Those sunny skies, though, won't last too long. Looking like it's going to be a wet start to the weekend. Rain coming our way Thursday and Friday. That'll do it for this weather update. Let's go back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. And we are going to step out for a break. Come back. Donald Eng will take a look back on this day in history, more local news, and Frank has your Nutmeg Sports update after this.
Get a fresh start to the new year by shaking up your meal routine. Walter Stewart's Market is your local source for a delicious selection of fresh and convenient salad shakers, like Southwest salad with chicken, Cobb with organic chicken, Power Vegan with fruit and quinoa, Greek salad with tabbouleh, and grilled shrimp with hominy. Grab one from our salad case or order from our deli today. Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street, New Canaan, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
Want a new experience in car buying? Scap Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. We are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Come visit our new Ram Truck Center. Our Ram trucks get the job done with unparalleled style and performance. Call, click, or stop in to find the new Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge car, minivan, or Ram truck that you've been looking for. Family owned and operated for over 50 years. Save thousands right now at the President's Day event and Ram Truck Month. Ends February 28th.
At Galt, we always put you first. As your full-service home heating partner, we provide expert delivery, installation, and maintenance for all your heating needs with knowledgeable, friendly professionals that give you peace of mind 24/7. Galt Family Companies, you first since 1863.
Had a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Orthopedics Walk-In Urgent Care gives you direct access to orthopedic specialists fast without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Orthopedics Walk-In Urgent Care can help. Open 7 days a week now at 3 locations. The iPark Building at 761 Main Avenue, Norwalk, 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien, or in the Westport Medical Center at 323 Riverside Avenue West.
Welcome back to this February 19th edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, and it's time to take a look back on this day in history with Donald Eng. Don.
Well, Kate, we got a couple of World War II anniversaries today. First, though, we go all the way back to 356. That was the year Emperor Constantius II issues a decree closing all of the pagan temples in the Roman Empire. Now, Constantius' father, Constantine, had officially converted the empire to Christianity 40 years earlier, but Constantius took it a step further, making it illegal to practice any other religion. In case you're wondering, by the way, Constantius practiced what's known as Arianism, which would be declared heresy 30 years later. Believe it or not, Jehovah's Witnesses today are probably theologically the closest to Constantine and Constantius' strain of religion. 1945, Operation Detachment, the U.S. Marine invasion of Iwo Jima is launched. Iwo Jima was a tiny, barren Pacific island. It had no native population, actually, but it was only 660 miles from Japan, meaning the new B-29 bombers could make the round trip carrying their entire 12,000-pound bomb load. The 5-week battle would take the lives of 6,800 Americans and an estimated 20,000 Japanese. 1963 we go now. The publication of Betty Friedan's Feminine Mystique reawakens feminism in the United States. Now, Friedan had surveyed her college classmates 15 years after graduation and found that despite many of them having husbands, children, and comfortable upper-middle-class lifestyles, they were bored and unsatisfied with their lives. The book was the subject of an immediate backlash, primarily from women. Finally, now we go to 1942 on the West Coast for this.
We just figured they were sending us up in the mountains somewhere, you know, to be. And so I started to gather rice, small sacks of rice, and collected the packages of dehydrated soup and Jell-O and things that were light so that they wouldn't be such a heavy baggage for us to carry, because they said you could only take what you carry. And we knew we had to take blankets and sheets and bedding and things, as well as some of our clothes. And we had no idea whether we were going to a hot place or a cold place, so our family was quite concerned about how to get ready.
On this date, 1942, President Franklin D. Roosevelt signs Executive Order 9066, authorizing the removal of any and all people from military areas as deemed necessary or desirable. The military, in turn, interpreted that to mean the entire West Coast was a military area. By June, 110,000 Japanese Americans were relocated to remote internment camps built by the military in scattered locations around the country. They were interned for about 2.5 years. Historically speaking, 10 Americans were arrested and convicted of spying for Japan in World War II. None of them were of Japanese descent. That is your look back in history for today, February 19th, and I'm Donald Eng.
All right, thanks so much, Don. Well, in other local news, a Stamford resident reported $1,000 in cash missing after taking her car to a service appointment at BMW of Darien on February 7th. Now, that woman dropped her car off at about 9 a.m. and returned to pick it up later in the morning. She said she had left $1,000 in a bank envelope in a storage compartment near the steering wheel, but that cash was missing after the vehicle's interior was cleaned. Now, the complainant immediately reported the missing cash to the dealership service clerk, who in turn questioned several employees. Well, the dealership could not produce the cash, and management advised the woman to file a police report. An investigation of that missing money is still ongoing. And the parking habits of some Wilton High School students landed them in some trouble last week. 16 Wilton High School students who drive cars to school were ticketed on Tuesday, February 13th for parking on the grass on the side of Christine Lilly Way. Now, Lieutenant Robert Cluck said the Wilton Police Department received a complaint that vehicles were being parked on the grass on that side of Christine Lilly Way, kicking up mud onto teachers' vehicles parked in the south lot of the high school. Well, when officers arrived, he said they found those vehicles were parked illegally in violation of posted no parking signs, and they then ticketed those cars. And in other news, 2 Connecticut sea captains were honored by the Coast Guard recently for rescuing 9 people from a capsized boat over the summer. Co-Captain Wim Jessup of Darien and Co-Captain Martin Van Breems of Reading of the sailing yacht Disco Volante, along with crew members Mike McCormick and Brad Freeman, were awarded the Meritorious Public Service Award by the Commandant of the United States Coast Guard for their courageous actions to save 9 people from an overturned vessel back on July 26 in Buzzards Bay. Now, co-captains Jessup and Van Breems were teaching an advanced coastal cruising class with 4 students on the Hants 400 from Norwalk to Portland, Maine. Fortuitously, that group had just completed several man-overboard drills during their training when that overturned motor vessel and 12 victims were spotted in the turbulent waters at the southwestern entrance to the Cape Cod Canal in Buzzards Bay. Well, conditions at the time were 18+ knots of wind against the current, creating some steep, choppy waves that had caused that 24-foot powerboat to founder. Now, Captain Jessup immediately called for the Coast Guard, while Captain Van Breems had the crew take down their sails and bring their boat alongside the victims. They succeeded in pulling 9 victims, 8 children and 1 mother, out of the water before local authorities arrived on the scene to assist those remaining victims. Unfortunately, 1 child was trapped under that yacht. A professional diver retrieved that 8-year-old boy who was unresponsive and later died at Children's Hospital in Boston. However, no additional serious injuries were reported. You can get more on that award to those two captains at DarienTimes.com. And churches have been talking about dwindling attendance for years and brainstorming ways to draw young parishioners into their pews. Well, the Reverend Charissa Pasley from St. Andrew's Episcopal Church in Milford recently had an idea to boost attendance, and it's an idea that either makes her brilliant or the coolest minister in town, and that's beer. Well, talking recently with others about church attendance, Pasley said that she pointed out that folks in their 20s and 30s are not in the pews. She told our own Milford Mirror that she said at the time, half joking, "I know where they are. They're in the local breweries." Well, that comment led to more talk and eventually to plans to hold a service in a local brewery. Now, her brother, Rob Leonard, happens to own the New England Brewing Company in Woodbridge and offered to host what may be the very first craft church. On Sunday, March 18th, the New England Brewing Company, located at 175 Amity Road in Woodbridge, will offer up its tasting room to churchgoers and spiritual seekers alike for a special Sunday night service. Doors will open at 6:30 p.m. and guests will be treated to a variety of appetizers as well as sparkling cider and 2 free samples of New England Brewing Company's latest creations on tap. Now, you can get a lot more on that event coming up at milfordmirror.com. But let's throw it back over to Frank Granito now for your Nutmeg Sports Update. Frank.
All right, thank you, Kate. Let's start with our Week 6 winners for the HA Network Athlete of the Week. And congratulations to Ashley Wilson of the Norwalk girls basketball team and Malcolm Going of the Danbury boys indoor track and field team. Wilson scored 16 points, leading the Bears to their 16th win of the season, 56-32, when they defeated rival Brian McMahon last Friday. And Malcolm Going helped win 3 races for Danbury, and the Hatters captured the CIAC Class Double-L Championship last week. He won the 600-meter run and was a part of the 4x200 and 4x400 relay teams. The 4x400 team broke the team record with a time of 3 minutes, 28 seconds. That was also a Class Double-L record, which, ironically, set by Danbury last year. Going was also a part of that relay team. Saturday, the girls basketball postseason got underway. We were at Wilton High School for the 3-6 matchup between Fairfield Ward and Richfield and the 2-7 matchup between Wilton and Staples. 2 big games as the Mustangs and the Warriors advance on to the semifinals. Ward winning 38-33. Olivia Parisi leading all scorers with 22 points in that game. And the Wilton Warriors, playing at home as the number 2 seed, they got the win 57-53. A great day for the Wilton girls basketball program. Caroline Sweeney finished with 14 points. Elizabeth Breslin had 11. Lauren Robertson with 12 points. Wilton and Ward will square off tomorrow night at 6 p.m. on the HAN network, and the winner of that game will advance to the championship, and we'll await the winner of Stanford and Trumbull. It'll be a rematch of the 2017 FCX championship in the semifinals this year. Stanford defeated Norwalk 65-57. Brooke Kelly going for 30 points in the Black Knights win, and the number 1 seed Trumbull Eagles hold off Darien 54-46. High score in that game. Julie Keckler with 17 points to lead the Eagles. We got boys hockey on the HAN network later on today. It is a battle for the top spot in the conference. Greenwich hosts Ridgefield on their senior night. First place on the line will be on the air at 4:15 from the Dorothy Hamill Skating Rink. Kate, send it back over to you.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. And we're going to step out for a break, come back, and recap some of the top stories we're following today after this.
Voted Best Gourmet to Go in Fairfield County, Palmer's extensive menu offers everything you'll need to make your next event easy and delicious. Whether you're hosting a small get-together or planning a large celebration, they've got you covered breakfast through dessert. Order online at palmersdarien.com or call 203-655-2077.
Yeah, Dad.
Kyle, I need you to update the financial statements.
I took care of that yesterday, Dad.
Mac, I need you to get those deals approved.
They're all done, Mr. Miller.
Jeff, I need you to order lunch for the meeting. They can't do a thing without me.
Right now, lease a 2017 Sentra S for only $97 a month.
I'm never going to retire.
UK Gourmet is the largest specialty grocer in the area, featuring food from England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Over 80 teas to choose from and a brilliant assortment of biscuits to go with them. Over 70 cheeses from grass-fed cows, which makes a smashing difference in taste. the creamiest chocolate you'll ever taste using no artificial colors or preservatives. So say hooray for UK Gourmet, 78 Stony Hill Road in Bethel, or visit ukgourmet.us.
Sail on a summertime adventure with Sail Away Sailing School. Located in Captain's Cove Seaport in Bridgeport, we're sailing June 18th through August 10th. 2 sessions offered daily, Monday through Friday for ages 9 to 15. Have fun, make friends, learn to sail. Visit teamsailaway.com.
At Pamby Motors, we're not worried about being the biggest dealership. We're focused on being the best. We're dedicated to giving you the best experience we can. The Pamby Motors team is here to help you choose the right Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram in a friendly, pressure-free environment. And right now, during Ram Truck Month, get up to $14,000 off on all in-stock 2017 Ram 1500 pickups. Come in and see us for details. Visit Pamby Motors, Route 7 in Ridgefield, PambyZone.com.
At Budget Blinds, we're in business to frame the light, the day, and the night. So we give you an exclusive combination of high style, expert service, our no surprises pricing, and our no questions asked warranty. We believe that everyone, at every budget, deserves style and service. Isn't that a beautiful place to be?
If you've ever thought about owning a motor coach or learning about what it's like to travel the open road in superior style and comfort, then contact Dave's RV Center in Danbury, Connecticut. Offering the best quality Class A motorhomes from Newmar, travel trailers and fifth wheel lines from Surveyor, and a toy hauler line from Work and Play. Choose from Newmar's Gas Line, Bay Star and Canyon Star, or from Newmar's Diesel Line, Ventana and Dutch Star. And with unparalleled service and maintenance, Dave's RV is committed to keeping you and your motor coach safely on the road and enjoying it to the fullest. Stop by their showroom, 2 Industrial Plaza Road, Danbury, Connecticut, or call 877-483-3866.
Set sail on a summer...
Welcome back to this Monday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, recapping some of the top stories we're following today. Tragedy in Norwalk over the weekend. Hearst, Connecticut media reports that a Columbus Magnet School first grader died of flu complications Saturday night, likely making her the second child in the state to die of a flu-related illness this season. 6-year-old Emma Splon had joined Columbus last year as a kindergartner, according to school principal Medard Thomas in a letter that was sent to parents and students on Sunday. Now, Thomas wrote in part, "We could always count on Emma to constantly do the right thing at school and thriving." He said, "Our hearts go out to her loving parents, Christy Pugh and David Splon." He said, "We are devastated by their loss, and this tragedy has brought us unimaginable sorrow and heartache, but as a community, we possess the spirit and fortitude to work through this unspeakably tragic time." He wrote that counselors will be available at Columbus Magnet School to help children, staff, and parents process through the tragedy. Emma's death comes roughly a month after that of 10-year-old Nico Malazzi of New Canaan, who died January 14th of a flu-related illness. And Trumbull police have arrested a 13-year-old boy for posting comments and a photo of himself on social media holding a handgun in a group text with other students on February 17th. Now, Trumbull police were notified after a parent of one of those other students in the group found the post on their child's cell phone. The gun in the photo was found to be a replica BB gun. The youth had purposely cropped out the gun's red tip, which identified it as a replica when he took that photo. Now, it was later determined that this was an isolated incident and that there was no apparent threat to the general public. That 13-year-old was charged with disorderly conduct and is scheduled to appear in court on March 3rd. And the heavy, wet snow which fell across the area Saturday night made for some treacherous driving conditions. Monroe-Stevenson Volunteer Fire Company reported that it was dispatched at about 7:30 Saturday night for a motor vehicle accident rollover in the area of 310 Hammertown Road. Now, once units arrived, along with Monroe Police Department and Monroe Volunteer Emergency Medical Service, firefighters found both occupants of that vehicle had already removed themselves with no injuries. Now, units remained on scene until wreckers showed up to remove that vehicle. And in other news, the National School Walkout movement has roots in Ridgefield. Ridgefield High School sophomore Lane Murdoch is among the national student leaders protesting for stricter gun control laws after a school shooting in Florida last week that claimed the lives of 17 people. Now, Murdoch told Reuters on Sunday in part, "I felt like it was our time to take a stand because we're the ones in these schools and we're the ones who are having shooters come into our classrooms." Now, Murdoch's petition had gone on to accumulate roughly 55,000 signatures, and that protest, officially branded the National School Walkout, has reached some 76,000 Twitter followers as of early this morning. Now, Murdoch and other national student leaders are calling for their peers to exit school on Friday, April 20th. That's going to be the 19th anniversary of the Columbine school massacre in Colorado. Murdoch said in part, "Nothing has changed since Columbine. Let us start a movement that lets the government know that the time for change is now." Now, Murdoch also encourages those participating to wear orange and protest in their local communities before that national school exodus on April 20th. There's much more on that story at theridgefieldpress.com. But let's take one final look at your forecast with Frank Granito. Frank.
All right, thank you, Kate. Again, partly sunny right now. Temperatures sitting in the mid-40s. We'll see some increasing cloud cover later on in the afternoon. A couple of showers passing through this evening and overnight. A dense fog increasing heading into Tuesday morning. Going to be mild out tomorrow. Early morning fog should break by the midday. Temperatures up into the mid-50s. Partly sunny skies. Cloudy tomorrow night, temperatures right around 47, 48. Temperatures skying up into the 60s on Wednesday for what should be a mostly sunny day. 4:15 at the Dorothy Hamill Skating Rink. The HAN Network covers Greenwich and Ridgefield FCX boys hockey. Top seed in the conference on the line. John Kovach, Kevin Coleman will join me. For now, though, let's go back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. And we're going to wrap things up here on your coffee break, but we will see you tomorrow at 11 with the latest local news and more. Have a great day.